Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are putting together your playbook for 2025 on a tool that's super powerful but honestly pretty misunderstood in machine learning, AutoML. We're going to cut through all the hype and just give you the practical best practices you can actually use. All right, let's just jump right in with a question that, might ruffle a few feathers, but it's one we absolutely have to ask. For years, the big fear was that these tools would de-skill the entire profession. But what if the real risk isn't that they'll replace us, but that we'll just use them badly? Because, you see, how we think about AutoML has completely changed. It's not just this simple no-code button for beginners anymore. The reality now, in 2025, is that AutoML is a serious piece of infrastructure for experts. It's built to achieve a level of optimization, rigor, and cost efficiency that a human, well, we just can't match on our own. So here's the game plan. First, we'll talk about this new way of thinking. Then we'll get into the huge mistakes you have to avoid. After that, we'll look at how these systems actually build models smartly, how to get them into the real world, and finally, how you pick the right tool for what you're trying to do. First up, let's just reset our expectations for what modern AutoML is even for. Getting this right is the foundation for everything else. The main thing to get your head around is this. Today's tools aren't just about replacing manual coding. They're designed to go way beyond human capabilities in terms of scale and complexity. Think of it like a power-up for your own expertise, letting you test thousands of model ideas with a level of discipline that would be impossible to do by hand. Okay, so we've got the right mindset. Now, let's talk about the single most common and dangerous way that projects fail. Seriously, if you get this next part wrong, it doesn't matter how fancy your AutoML tool is, it will lead you straight off a cliff. And this is it. This is the #1 reason why models with amazing accuracy scores completely and spectacularly fail in the real world. It's called target leakage. It's a really sneaky problem where your model basically cheats by looking at data that already has the answer. So of course it looks great in testing. And here's a perfect example of how simple but how deadly this is. So imagine you're trying to predict which customers will leave your service. Your AutoML system finds this amazing pattern. Long call durations are perfectly correlated with churn. Boom, 99% accuracy. The problem? In the real world, you only know how long that goodbye call was after they've already left. The model is totally useless for predicting the future. Now, the good news is stopping this silent killer is all about discipline, and you can and really should automate it. First, always enforce strict time-based splits in your data. Your training data has to come from a time before your validation data, period. Second, run automatic checks to flag and get rid of any feature that has a ridiculously high correlation with your target. It's almost always a sign something's wrong. Okay, next up. Let's look at how these modern tools find the best models without, setting a giant pile of money on fire in cloud computing bills. This is not about just trying every single possible combination. So the old school way was something called random search, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You're just randomly trying different settings. It's simple, sure, but wildly inefficient. Modern systems are way smarter. They use methods like Bayesian optimization, which actually learns from every experiment. It builds a little probability map of what works and uses that map to make an educated guess about what to try next. It gets smarter as it goes. And the difference this makes to your wallet is huge. These smart search techniques can slash your computing costs, sometimes by a factor of 10 compared to just guessing. So you're not just getting better models, you're getting them way faster and cheaper. And the secret sauce that makes this all so efficient is a strategy called multi-fidelity optimization. The easiest way to think about it is like a sports tournament. Instead of making every single model train on your entire huge data set, which is expensive, you have hundreds of them compete on a tiny piece of the data first. You throw out the losers right away and only let the winners move on to the next round with more data. It lets you explore a massive number of possibilities on the same budget. So, you've found an awesome model. Great! Now, you actually have to get it approved to be used, which brings us to something that is absolutely critical in any professional environment. You have to be able to explain it. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? If you work in a big company or a regulated industry like finance or healthcare, you have to be able to explain why your model made a certain decision. If a model denies someone a loan, you can't just shrug and say, I don't know, the machine did it. That just doesn't fly. And this is the huge difference that separates the old tools from the new standard. Black box AutoML just spits out a model file you can't look inside. It's a complete nightmare for audits, and it locks you into using that one vendor's system. The modern way is Glassbox AutoML. It doesn't just give you the model, it gives you the clean, human-readable code that created the model. So the takeaway here is simple. For any serious project, using tools that generate code is pretty much non-negotiable. It means you can pass audits, your team can actually debug and customize things, you're not stuck with one vendor forever, and most importantly, it builds trust in the whole system. Okay, finally, let's pull all this together into a real, actionable playbook you can use to pick the right tool for the job. This is where we turn all this theory into something practical. What you see right away is that the best tool really depends on your goal. If you're at a startup and you just need a pretty good model like now, something like Microsoft's FAMML is amazing. It's fast and cheap. If you're in a competition and you need to squeeze out every last drop of performance, then a beast like AutoGluon is your go-to. But if you're at a big company with tons of rules and governance, you absolutely need a glass-box tool like SageMaker Autopilot. And really, this is the key point for this whole section. There's no silver bullet here. Your job as a data scientist isn't just to press the go button on a tool. It's to understand the actual business problem, understand the constraints like cost or speed or auditability, and then pick the right tool for that specific situation. So there you have it, your modern AutoML playbook. We've seen it's a tool for experts, not something to replace them. We've talked about how to dodge those silent killers like data leakage, how to find the best models without breaking the bank, and why seeing inside the glass box is so critical. And all that leaves you with one final question to think about. Are you going to use these amazing tools to replace your own judgment or to make it even better? The answer to that is what's really going to define your success.